players Bill Walsh would not retain. Take it from here.
Okay. I'll give a little context. I liked Bill very much. Very much. He was ruthless when it came to football. The only thing he cared about was winning. He did not care about players' feelings. I don't believe he may have acted nice to them, but he didn't care about their feelings. And his philosophy was get rid of a player a year early rather than a year late. He told everyone that. He was on the record with that. Get rid of a player a year early as opposed to a year late. So let's start with offense. I'll go one, Iggy, and then you'll go one.
Sure.
I believe if Bill Walsh were alive and coaching this team, he would get rid of Deebo Samuel.
Hmm.
And
I would agree.
I'll say why. Iggy says that Debo's a very nice man and he's thoughtful. He's good in the locker room. He answers questions, and that's lovely. That's fine. But his job is to really be an effective wide receiver. He doesn't really run. He's not a great route runner. He doesn't really block hard when the play is not coming to him downfield. He's turned, and he doesn't have the greatest hands. So, like Ayuk is a better wide receiver than Debo, and he's turned into kind of a gimmick guy. If you can get him a screen pass and he's so strong, he can get a few times a game, he can get a lot of yards, although he wasn't able to do it in the Super Bowl. But in terms of a regular wide receiver, I think he's now on the decline and he's given the most you can get. And I don't think you're going to get that much out of him in the future. Better to get draft choices for him. To rebuild a roster that's getting a little older and to fill his place. Iggy, do you agree with me?
I do. And plus, they're going to be paying him $28 million this year. That's what quarterbacks get. He doesn't have that kind of an impact on the offense. They don't really need him anymore. Yeah, I think Bill Walsh would get rid of him. They don't save a lot of money by trading him, but his value's going to go down. And in a trade, they could probably get much more from this year than next year. I would trade him.
Right. Yeah. Bill, I'm saying I feel I don't have a pipeline to Bill, but I feel he would trade him. Anyone on offense you would suggest?
I think Bill Walsh would release or trade Kyle Juszczyk.
I agree.
Great player, best fullback in the league, but he's definitely declining. And, the Niners got rid of Tom Rathman when he was 31. Juszczyk's about to be 33. He's not the blocker he used to be. They almost never hand him the ball, and they throw him like one pass every other game, and he's going to make almost $8 million this year. I think it's time.
I 100% agree with you. Again, it's not a knock on Juszczyk. He's been a very good player, but I think he's reached his zenith and is now going down the other side of the hill. And Bill, ruthless. He might really like the guy. He might want to be friends with him when his career is over, but you're out. And I'll tell you someone else, I feel fairly confident Bill would get rid of his Kittle. Again, I feel that I've never met Kittle, but I feel he's really grown up in a nice way. I kind of like him, although we're going to talk about him a little later. But Iggy, he only had 2 receptions in the game.
Mm-hmm.
For how many yards?
4.
You can't have that. And now there are other things they might have thrown to other people. They might have asked him to block, blah, blah, blah. Kelsey's better now. Kelsey's a more important player in their offense. So I would say, thank you very much, George. We're going to trade you to wherever and you get draft choices. So to me, those would be the 3 guys on offense. And again, you trade him a year too soon rather than a year too late.
That's the point.
That's Bill's axiom.
And it seems painful to trade George Kittle now, but the guy just had 4 yards in a Super Bowl. It might be the time. Yeah. It might be a year too soon, or you might be approaching it too late. If you wait, you might get nothing for this guy. So on defense, how about easy one? He's a free agent, Chase Young. They traded a 3rd round pick for him at the deadline. They really gloated about the trade, like Washington didn't know what they were doing with in general, that he was going to come here and play so well because of the culture and the this and the that and he just jogged around the field, loafed around a lot.
Yeah.
Can't bring
Now,
him back.
now he's a free agent, so you wouldn't be releasing him, but you wouldn't be bringing him back.
No.
I don't think he made any impact. Maybe he did a little in the Super Bowl, but again, I'm going to repeat something I said last week. A coach called me up, a retired NFL coach, and we were chatting, and he used the adjective disgusting for how Chase Young played in the first 2 playoff games. This was before the Super Bowl. He said, if I had him, I would trade his butt. And it
Yeah.
turns out he was the second player taken in his draft.
Yes, he was.
He was supposed to be a tremendous impact player. And Washington, you could say, oh, Washington, they're so stupid. They couldn't wait to get rid of him. And
He
I
got
think
drafted
there's
ahead
a
of
reason.
Justin Herbert.
Wow.
He was the second pick in the draft. Herbert was 6 in that year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got drafted ahead of Brandon Ayuk.
He's not. Those are much better players than he is. He's no longer an impact player. And my guess is, unless someone motivates him, you're going to see him fade out of the league way premature to what you'd think. May I?
But I mean, he was in a contract year, and the Niners were in the Super Bowl. If that doesn't motivate you, it's never going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So okay, so he's out on the defense. I'm going to say someone else, Eric Armstead. And here's why, Iggy. When he plays, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's a good run stopper. He's not particularly a quarterback sacker, but maybe that's not his job. He's a good run stopper, although they had a lot of trouble stopping the run this season. But Iggy, he gets hurt all the time. So in a 17-game season, he's going to miss games every season. So again, for me,
he missed 5 this year and 8 the year before that.
Previous year 8, 5 this season. That's a lot of games. 8 is really half of the season. The other's a quarter almost or more. So what I'm saying is, I'm thinking as Bill would think. I don't want to risk it with this guy anymore. I want to get somebody else. I would rather get rid of him a year early than a year too late. And what's more, Iggy, with him, it may already be a year too late.
Yeah. He's had plantar fasciitis the last 2 seasons. It's going to be, it might be already too late.
It may be already too late. So me, if I'm the theoretical Bill, and Bill, I know I'm not the theoretical you, I'm conjecturing that he would get rid of Eric Armstead. Anybody else on defense, Iggy?
Not on defense.
Okay.
I'll go with special teams, though.
Yeah.
Jake Moody.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Like, he may have a bright future in the NFL, but somewhere else. He inspires no confidence, and you need like a constant at some place on your team. That would be a good spot. Kicker. You don't need to worry about him missing extra points in playoff games. He missed a kick in every single playoff game.
Every single game.
Every single one.
Yeah. What would happen is Bill would talk about him, Moody, says, yeah, we really like him. We had to get rid of him, but we wish him luck. But behind the scenes, he would tell his coaches, get this guy the hell out of here. I need a kicker. I don't need anxiety. I need a kicker I can believe in. And that's how he would talk about him, not in the public. Get him the hell out of here.
In 94,
I'd get him the hell out of there.
Yeah, I would too. In 94, the Niners had a rookie kicker on their Super Bowl championship team, Doug Bryan. They drafted him in the 3rd round, a lot like Jake Moody. He wasn't good. And midway through 95, they got rid of him, and he spent most of his career in New Orleans. So, no patience. Sorry. This is a really, really good team. If you can't rise to the occasion, go play for New Orleans. They're not playing for anything. They'll love you.
I remember one time I was with Bill in the Stanford athletic department, and his kicker with some of the Super Bowl teams was Ray Wersching. And I don't know the whole history. I've never really looked it up. But Bill and I were in his office chatting, and then he got a phone call, and he said, Lowell, excuse me, I have to go into the conference room. And he came back 20 minutes later, and what happened? He said, Ray Wersching, I guess Bill had gotten rid of him years before when he was at the Niners. And he said, Ray came up. He was so angry at me, Lowell. He's still angry. And I had to sit and let him vent on me and to say it wasn't personal. And I didn't witness it. I was in the other room. but Bill exited, came back, and he was shaken. He was
Oof.
shaken, but he made his he didn't say I made the wrong decision. He said I didn't like him to be so angry at me.
Hmm. I got one more person that can't be back on this team. Ray McCloud.
Tell me.
I mean, the one mistake he made in the Super Bowl, he didn't fall on the ball. It wasn't his fumble. It hit Darrell Luter Jr.'s foot. Unfortunate. And he made a split-second decision to try to scoop it up and run with it instead of falling on it. Sorry, that's a critical decision. You're the punt returner. They need a new punt returner. Can't have him on this team.
Bill always, I was in team meetings with him, and he would say, if the ball is bouncing, don't pick it up and advance it. Fall on it. Iggy, he said it before every game. He was so obsessed with that. So he broke a Bill rule. Bill would have gotten rid of him. And I want to tell you who else Bill would have gotten rid of. Feliciano.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you don't badmouth a teammate publicly. That would have been a no-no for Bill. We're a team, and you don't go after Burford. That's who he went after, right?
Yes.
You either keep your mouth shut or you handle it privately. You don't make it to seem like we're disunited.
Yeah.
Bill would say, get his butt out of here, send him to Buffalo. That's what he would have said.
Yeah, I agree. So those would be the ones that Bill would get rid of.